Hey guys, it's me Astrid, and look who bloomed just in time for my November orchid update. That's right, it's my oncidium tiger crow. This one won the best oncidium at the recent orchid show, as judged by my Orchid Society, not the American Orchid Society. But I got a little coupon for it, and that was exciting, so I'm going to spend that this coming month at the auction table at my Orchid Society, and I'm super, super stoked. So yeah, this one, she's finally blooming her two other spikes that have been developing since late summertime. And that's fantastic. They're going to be beautiful again. I'm going to have another great bloom display, and then I can repot her, which is nice. And she's quite a large thing. Let's see. Next, we've got my Dendrobium. Okay, Dendrobium Phalaenopsis orchids. I learned their other name, we all know, is Biggibum, and people all pronounce that Biggibum. This is actually Dendrobium bigibum. It's bigibum, not Biggibum. That was told to me by a guy in my Orchid Society who's like super, super knowledgeable, and I think I don't think he's an AOS judge, but he's up there. So it's bigibum, not Biggibum, and there you go. But this one is kind of sitting on the table by itself because I saw some bugs coming out of it, but they were like tiny, skinny little flies or something. They were bigger than fungus gnats. I don't know. So I just sprayed it with some alcohol water dish soap solution I made and hoped for the best. Let's have a look-see around here. So we've got my no ID bulbophyllum. Its growth is getting nice and big, and I peeled the leaf open myself because I couldn't wait anymore. Oops. We got my Phalaenopsis G-House Pink Girl doing well. My Sideria japonica, I took all of the moss off the mount after hearing Dr. Kristen talk last month at my Orchid Society, and it's got green root tips and it's looking okay. It's got some drying leaves, but otherwise it seems okay. We'll see how it does, but I know these are kind of challenging guys to grow, so I won't worry too much. Den Nestor is slowly, continuously going into dormancy. We've got the Neophonetia falcata is not doing that much. It's been a slow grower for me. Same with this other Neophonetia. Slow grower, nothing exciting. Let's see, we've got Bulbophyllum barbagirum. It's making some new growths. Nothing amazing, just has a little sunburn on there, but no spikes or anything yet, just new growths and new roots, good vegetative growth. This Bulbophyllum fascinator, putting down some new roots here. You can see those at the bottom of that new growth. The new growth is almost as big as the old ones. That tells me it's basically happy in the way that I've set it up, so go me. Got Dendrobium unicum, which is still in active growth. What are you doing, Den unicum? What are you doing? I don't know. This one supposedly needs a winter rest, I think, but it's still growing. My oncidium wildcat is growing. It's gone out of bloom finally. This Sherry baby growing, nothing exciting. And Cichlea or Prostachia cochleata, its growth is getting bigger. It's a very slow grower because it only has a few bulbs. I think it's growing a lot more slowly than the big specimen one I have. Oh, I got an air plant, which is kind of like one of the stupidest plants ever. Like, you just have to get it wet and it doesn't do anything, and it just sits there, and I put it upside down in the cup so it doesn't rot, but whatever. Apparently they bloom sometimes, and I've seen them bloom, and it looks cool, so we'll see. That's what you get for impulse buys, Astrid. Next, we've got the Miltonia spectabilis variety alba, or bicolor, and it has a new growth coming up here. Do you see the little guy? So that's exciting. It's got some wrinkled leaves, but no sign of a flower yet. I don't know what to do there, but whatever. Ooh, hey! We've got on this this divided Cattleya, we've got two new roots coming, and it looks like the eyes are starting to wake up and make new growths come out. Now I can't say the same for this part that I cut off from the main plant. I split this into 2 plants to see what would happen, and I don't know that this part is going to put out new roots for me. I don't know, the end of this is just getting floppy. This leaf I tied in a knot because it was drying up. So, I don't know, maybe only this front division is going to do well, but we'll see. My dendrobiums in the dendrobium corner, they're doing just fine. This one is still in a gorgeous bloom display. This is another Dendrobium bigibbum, not bigibum. These flowers are lovely. I think they're finally giving up on putting out spikes every 10 seconds, so they're going to go out of bloom, but I'm pretty sure I've had these constantly in flower for like 3 months. This is a great little orchid. And this one here is like still working on finishing up another flower spike. So these are fantastic orchids. I love them. They're really great. We've got the Cattleya Chocolate Drop Kodama in semi-hydroponic. It has put out so many stinking roots. Like, it's just got new root nubbins every time I look at it, which is exciting. Although it keeps getting this little spots on the root, and it looks like a slug bit it, but I don't see any other signs of pests, so maybe it's just a freak like error in the plant has in producing this particular root. You know, sometimes you get a weird hair on your head. Maybe it's that, but the new growth, it's coming along so well, and I've just been gently adjusting it every week by pushing this little thing up about 1 millimeter so it grows up straight. I'm trying to train all my Cattleyas to grow straight and orderly, so we'll see how that goes. And you can see kind of my Cattleya corner right here, and I staked up all my plants recently, so they're going to be kind of forced to stand up straight and tall, or maybe they're going to just pull their stake whichever way they feel like pulling it. Jerk. But we'll see. Yeah, I've tried to do a lot with these. The Brassicatleya venosa cross Brassivola Little Stars, if you didn't hear, got registered. And mine was doing really bad. All its roots died. So I cut basically all the roots off and I put it in semi-hydroponic. And I soaked it in Super Thrive. I don't know if you guys saw about that, but we'll see how it does. Yeah, but this got registered as Brassicatleya Green Bird now. So it has a name. It is Brassicatleya Green Bird. Look for it in stores, people. Brassivola nodosa, putting up new growths and sheaths. Right here's a sheath, but no buds. No buds, no blooming. I don't know. What do you want? What do you want from me? I don't know. My little Moats Vandas are doing fine in semi-hydroponic. Their roots haven't all, you know, rotted off yet, so that's good. They're fine. I'm getting really sick of growing the polka dot plant, and so I'm just going to let it bloom, and it's going into flower. I read online that if you let the flowers bloom, then the plant will die, because it's like, I achieved my reproductive goals, therefore I do not need to go on. So, I don't know. I'm really annoyed. It drinks too much water. It's kind of a pain, so I might just let it die. This Prosthecia cochleata specimen size one that I have here is getting really big. The growths are plumping in the middle. So, like these new growths, you can see it's kind of getting a little belly on it. You see that? So that means the growths are maturing on schedule. I don't have any complaints about this guy. I just kind of forget to water it often enough. My Vanda Sandriana is out of bloom. I really fell in love with it, you guys. You don't have to worry about me selling it anymore because I'm too in love. The only reason I would sell it is if I start noticing the new leaves coming in way smaller than the old ones and suffering. But my shoelace method of organizing the roots has gone well. I've adjusted them one time since I made that video, and I've just been gradually tightening them. So I think I'm going to tighten them again when I water them, maybe this week or next week. Let's see. Ivanagar Apple Blossom had to be repotted into semi-hydroponic. I found mold and pests when I unpotted it, and she was getting so wrinkly. You see this wrinkly? stuff. If you have an orchid kind of getting like that, you might want to just go ahead and unpot it and see what's going on inside that pot, and then give it a repot maybe if it's suffering. But it does have that new growth coming there, and it's got new root tips kind of all around that are getting ready to go down into the media, so that's good. I think this will do really well now that I've switched it to a different potting method that works better for how I work. Next, we've got the this Cattleya here. Lots of new roots. Lots of new roots all over the semi-hydroponic. We've got, gosh, it's so crowded in here. Cattleya forbesii. She's got a big growth coming along here. It's starting to kind of leaf out and do well. And I'm just kind of trying to train it to grow upright like the rest. All my Cattleyas are doing well, and this new green spotted Cattleya I got, which I forgot to put a tag on, I have to go back to that video and look at it, is bursting with new roots. Like, just look at that. That's ridiculous. And I'm pretty sure these dormant eyes are going to start waking up and turn into new growths. So that's good news. Dendrobium kingianum has been going in the fridge almost every single night reliably. Got some hairspray stuck on her still from curing her from the mites, but it's kind of shriveling up. I think she wants more water than is present in the fridge. I don't know, but I'm going to continue on with this experiment and see what happens to her over the next few months. We've got my Cycnodes Wine Delight. It's hilarious looking, and it's also like absurd to have just an orchid sitting out with no roots on a shelf in not a pot or anything. It's kind of very funny for me. This guy I think has kind of stalled or aborted the spike. It's my oncidium twinkle variety. We've got good growth on the Paphiopedilums. This growth gets bigger on the Nivium hybrid. And this Path Magic Lantern has been, looks like she's been getting bigger. It looks like she's happy, so yeah. I'm going to convert her to semi-hydroponic soon. We've got my Foul World class. It's been growing a new leaf and has one new little root nubbin. It's not pink tipped like the other roots had pink tips, so I don't know what's up with that, but I decided not to try to trigger her into blooming because she's got so few roots and the leaves have grown in really small every time, so I'm going to wait for the new leaf to get the size of the old leaves before I try to get her to bloom, which might be next year. We've got Oncidium Heaven Sent Redolence with a new growth and a spike. Now I think I'm going to make a mounts update video discussing about the mounts, but I noticed that this fine-rooted Oncidium has not put any roots down onto the mount that have survived. She's only kept them in the thick pad of sphagnum moss, so I think for this to work I'm going to have to cover this whole thing in sphagnum moss so she can really establish more roots or pot her. So, yeah. Falstuartiana has a new leaf and healthy roots. Let's meander into my room to see the Phalaenopsis orchids. Oh, we have to look at the Christmas cactus in my messy kitchen. Okay, so Christmas cactus has not put out any new growths this month, but has been maturing these other growths pretty well. And that, remember this? It has 4 growths coming out of one, which I've never seen before on a Christmas cactus. And this one again, 4 growths. She's not growing in pure sphagnum moss. I just put that over the top to increase humidity. It's kind of a mix of leca beads and all kinds of stuff. Don't ask me how to pot this Christmas cactus because I cannot tell you. But I'm trying to give her less light and cooler temps so she'll bloom. We will see. And before this gets too long, let's just go run and have a look at my orchids in the window. So, this is so awkward, but this window is kind of drafty and cold, so I put up a scarf so the phals don't get sunburned, and I just kind of put these phals into cooler temps to try to induce blooming. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Phalaenopsis orchids back here, and I'm trying to get their average temperatures to be 15 degrees lower than they've been. And I read on Ray Barkalow's website that Phalaenopsis orchids don't need a nighttime temperature drop. They need an overall average temperature 10 to 15 degrees lower. Rather than nighttime temps, they need an overall temperature drop. So I'm just going to go on that information and see what happens. You can read about that on his website. And then we've got the Dendrobium that the people in my Orchid Society gave me that I'm just going to let have a winter rest. And then I'm going to repot it come whenever it makes new growths. So yeah, that is kind of all I have to say for my orchids for now. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I wish you happy growing, happy November, happy winter coming on its way. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.